Hey guys, it's Amelia. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And also, this is the last week to sign up for my online course in rider position. So hurry and sign up for that course before it closes on November 1st. The course on rider position will start. Today we are talking about how to keep your hands still when you ride. So this is something that a lot of my students struggle with is they watch the video and they say, oh my God, my hands are all over the place. My hands are bouncing. What to do about that? First of all, I think you have to get past, like, when you think of keeping your hands still, what we all do is we tighten up. So we tense up our back and our shoulders and our biceps and we think, all right, I'm not gonna move my hands. The problem with this is that you're on a dynamic moving being. So the horse is moving under you, your body's moving. So if you lock up your arms, they're gonna bounce. So the most important thing to consider that's gonna help keep your hands quiet, two things. One is your seat and what the rest of your body is doing. And then two is that you actually have to have a little bit of flexibility in your elbows and your wrists and your shoulders to keep your hands still. So I'm going to demonstrate this all to you. So first off, I'm going to show you what happens if I try to keep my hands still. So, and this is what I see most people do. So I'm trotting along and I'm thinking to myself, all right, I'm going to keep those hands still. So you see I'm locking up my arms and you see what's happening. My horse is going above the bit. My hands are bouncing. You see what my reins are doing? So my reins are hitting him in the mouth and then they're going slack, which is really not nice for him. But my hands are still, they're not moving. So let me show you also in canter what happens. So if you're cantering and you say, okay, I'm gonna keep my hands still, this is what happens. Okay, you see how it looks like my hands are going up and down because my seat's going up and down and my horse's head is going up and down, but my hands are not moving. So that's the first thing, is when you want to keep your hands still, do not tighten up all your arm muscles. That's not going to keep your hands still. So the most important thing, if you want to keep your hands still, is you've got to get your seat better. There's a quote that says, no seat, no hands. If your seat isn't correct, your hands are going to be all over the place. Your seat, the main job of your seat is a shock absorber. So your seat needs to absorb the motion of your horse's back. So let me demonstrate to you in sitting trot. So if I'm sitting trot here, my hips and my lower back are all moving with my horse. I'm thinking about keeping my center, my belly button, and my spine tight. Now, if my seat goes bad, if I have a bad seat and I'm bouncing like this, now you see what's happening to my hands. So I'm bouncing in the saddle. You see my hands are bouncing and the reins are flopping and then hitting my horse in the mouth. Just because I changed my seat. I didn't tense my arms this time. Again, here I'm following the horse with my seat and you can see that my hands are more still. Let me show you that in canter. So good seat versus bad seat. So here my seat is going right in the motion of his stride. I'm following the canter with him and my hands are quiet and steady. Now I'm not going to change my hands, but if I change my seat, you see what happens. My hands are bouncing and he's coming above the bit and putting his head up. Boy. So that's what I mean by the biggest thing to fix your hands is to work on your seat. Get your seat better. Okay, so the third thing to get your hands quieter, say if you feel like, okay, I feel like my seat's better, but my hands still aren't nice and I don't have that nice smooth connection to my horse's mouth, So your elbows need to move a little bit when you ride. So they move a little different in the trot, in the walk, trot, and canter, which I'll explain to you. But your elbows and your wrists have to have elasticity to kind of absorb the horse's motion. So again, when we think of being still on our horse, it's not about not moving. When we see a rider who looks like they're really still, it's because they're moving with the horse. So when I think of my hands here at the walk, my hands are moving with my horse. So every time my horse's front foot goes forward, now, you see my elbows straighten, you see my hips swing. So my hands they appear to be still because they're moving with my horse's motion, but my arms and my hands are actually moving. Now if I don't move my hands, they're not going to bounce so much at the walk because there's not impulsion. But you see how when I locked up my arms, my horse right away slowed down and barely wants to walk forward. So at the rising trot is probably the most important place. So when you're posting the trot, your elbows have to bend and straighten so that your hands stay steady. So a good way to feel like this is to kind of just rest your pinky finger on the front of your saddle, or you can even hold on, and then you feel bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. So as my butt's going up and down, my elbows are bending and straightening. The reason this is important is that if you don't do that, your hands are going to post. So I'm going to show you when I come across here. So if my elbows aren't hinging, this is what's happening in my posting trot. You see my hands are going up and down. So don't do that. So now let me show you at the canter. So at the canter, you have your horse has kind of a nodding motion in the canter. So it's like a rocking horse. It's up and down and up and down. So likewise, my elbows are following. So they're following towards his mouth. Forward, 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 forward. Now, if I'm not following my horse and I'm going to be still with my hands, here's what happens. Right away, he puts his head up. So if I'm not following with my horse, here's what happens. You see now I'm jerking him in the mouth. My hands are high, and my horse is getting very distracted by me not in motion with him. So I hope that was helpful. Comment below. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if you have other tips that you've used to help keep your hands steady and quiet. And really going with the horse's motion is super important. Thanks for watching.